Good morning and welcome to Community Health Matters. Today we have Alex Docks, who is a registered sanitarian at the City County Health Department. Welcome, Alex. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alicia.
So one of your responsibilities, just one of your many responsibilities, is rabies surveillance. Can you talk to me a little bit about what rabies surveillance means and what you do in that program?
So rabies surveillance is just kind of seeing what's out there, seeing if rabies is present in our environment in Cascade County, and then working to prevent that so you don't get it. So a lot of our work is following up on bite reports, contacting victims, locating animals that are involved in bites to work to identify if you need treatment after that bite.
Okay. Can you tell me a little, what is rabies and why is it so important that we do this?
Rabies is a very fatal disease. Almost everyone that gets it ultimately dies. So we want to work to prevent it, and those steps are investigating bite reports, stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
do we actually find that we have rabies in our county?
there are some animals like bats and skunks that are prevalent in Cascade County that carry rabies and put us at risk for that, and as well as our animals, so we want to work to prevent that.
So we actually test some animals that come back and they're positive for rabies?
Correct.
Okay. And so what happens how does this work? Someone gets bit and then they report to you that they've gotten bit, and then we just follow through. And then what happens if we don't have an animal to test?
If we can't find an animal or locate it, then we'll recommend them for post-exposure treatment, which is a series of shots, and then as well as an immunoglobulin, which will help them get through the rabies virus and so they don't die.
So, as always, because public health is about prevention, we don't want anybody to have to go through that. What can people do to avoid having to go through that preventative medication treatment?
The best thing is education. You can definitely educate your kids to stay away from animals they don't know or are unfamiliar with. And then as well as taking steps to prevent bats from entering your home, so covering windows with screens, making sure all chimneys are closed up, stuff like that.
Okay. So do people need to be concerned about if they're out camping and the bats are flying around in the air? Do they need to worry about that?
No, rabies is only an issue when the animal bites you because the rabies virus is carried in the saliva. So if you don't have the direct contact with the animal, you're not put at risk.
Okay. So then that leads me to my next question, which is, say you find a bat in your yard. What do you do? Like a dead bat. What do you do?
You'd want to see if you have any pets that maybe have come across the bat. If they have, then you want to call animal control to report it because your cat or dog may be at risk of getting rabies.
So it's really important that our pets are fully immunized for the rabies vaccine as well.
And it's required by law that any animal over the age of 6 months is required to have rabies vaccination to prevent them from getting rabies.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about rabies? I mean, how prevalent is it we haven't had a rabies death in Cascade County, but do people still die from rabies?
Right. About 55,000 people around the world die each year of rabies, so that's about one person every 10 minutes. In the U.S., it's about 2 or 3 people a year. Most of those people that die travel to other countries, get bit by a dog or something like that, or else are exposed to a bat or other rabid animal. So it is out there, and we want to make sure that no one else dies because it is fatal.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for joining us for Community Health Matters.